Twitter stuff taken care of. Get our bot in there. And get our Discord taken care of. And we should be good. So, hello everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is, I don't know what I was going to say, January, July 17th, and this is the July 17th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be continuing our work on our new sewer combat level. Since last week, I have mostly focused on getting the boring UV stuff taken care of, so all of the lighting props and lighting has been put into the scene, although I actually have not baked it. I probably should do that, but not on the stream because that would suck. So all the lights are in. It is actually using the point lights here. We no longer have just a single directional light. We do have a black void around everything, although I guess it looks great in the scene view. And yeah, I mean, pretty much everything's good to go for us to actually get to the meat and potatoes of the actual combat here. Hello, Manatee TV. Feel drunk? Well, the question there is, have you been drinking? Because if you have, that's fine. If you haven't, that's probably not the best. Oh, but you didn't drink alcohol. Well, then that's probably not a good thing. Usually, if you start feeling a little buzzed when you haven't actually drank anything, that's kind of a sign for concern, or a cause for concern, I suppose. Let's see. Okay, so everything looks pretty good here. I might actually have to shift the UV. Oh no, they're fine. Okay. A little worried. I was like, oh no, the bars are just floating, but nope, they're just barely on there, so it's fine. Okay. So currently, I am getting the dolly shot set up. Let's go ahead and open this up. Go to timeline, intro, and we're going to do dolly track intro. Barely can stand. The solution there then is to stay seated. Like the old joke goes, a man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, I can't breathe." The doctor's response is, "Well, what should you stop doing then?" Okay, so I think the shot that I'm just kind of zipping around here, not really giving you guys a good idea of what I want. I think the shot that I'm going for, this is going to be really tough because it moves so fast this way, is basically I want to do like a sort of sweeping motion through here and then kind of end up at our final point, which probably means I should actually load in our characters here. So let's go ahead and pull in our troll. Actually, no, hold on. Let's go ahead and load in our sewer combat modeling just so that I can drag these guys over to here. Then I can just remove the scene without saving it. Alright, so these are our character sprites, which will make our, let's see, I'm kind of thinking, it's hard to frame it up exactly. Let's end with an idle virtual camera. Let's go ahead and create a Cinemachine virtual camera. This is going to be the one that we end up switching to whenever we're in our idle state. So I guess I'll keep it here for now. I'll just call this VCam idle. Let's go ahead and try positioning this. Okay, I'm going to try to move this up so I can see everything. We are going to give it a field of view of 60 and a far clip plane of 1000. Actually, 100 is probably fine. I don't think I'm really going to... Yeah, 100 is definitely fine. Which probably actually means I can change this one down to 100. Okay, we're going to take this and set it to do nothing. We are going to do a track dolly. That's fine. So let's see here. I'm gonna. Where are you? Come over here. So that's not too bad. It's probably a little farther than I would like. Let me rotate the hero around here. Rotate this. Oops, wrong way. So the hero will probably be something like that, sort of facing the camera. I don't know if I want to do that or if I want to do like this. It's probably better to just have them face the camera like that, which will of course make our troll do something like that-ish. Although both of these things actually need to be moved probably about to there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Make sure that you're not floating on anything. You kind of are. Let's move you forward a little bit. Like right there. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Let's try moving you onto your platform here as well. Okay. So they're a little far away. Well, nah, it's not too bad actually. And we're not. Well, we're pretty close to this wall. I don't like how much space it's taking up. Let's try to change the shot a little bit. Let's try something like that. It's very hard to do with this stupid reflector in the way. I'm actually probably going to just disable that real quick so I can get a better view of this. So let's come down to here. We're going to say something. Let's try this. Let's try lowering it. I feel like it's too high. Keep going down. It's still a little close. Problem is, like, it makes the troll look small, which is not exactly what you want. Because it's supposed to be intimidating. Let's see. What can I do about that? I could try moving it forward, I guess. Go ahead and grab this. Nope, not center. I'm going to set this to global so I can just move it along here. So I could move this up to, like, wow. Obviously not that far. Here-ish? Actually, you know what? It might be better. I think I just need a wider area, so I'm probably going to have to try moving my camera a little bit further up to like here-ish. That's a lot better, actually. I like that. Let's try a little bit more about there. Maybe. What is better there? This gives us more of a view. This is our idle state, though, so I think this is actually a pretty good shot. Let's go ahead. I'm going to rotate again so that everything's facing the right way. Okay. Let's go ahead to about there. That's where that is. Let's grab our troll, rotate. Actually, let's just move you back to probably about there. We're looking at something like that, I think. It's a little tough because I feel like our edges are kind of bleeding into the background a little bit, which is never a good thing. But I think... Actually, no, this is not acceptable because we're going to have our UI in here. So probably actually one of the things that I should do is turn you on, see if I can get the right one. No, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to load in the UI real quick just so that I can see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and pull in. Okay, maybe I'll pull it in if it wants to. Oh my goodness, what is up with this lag? I'm gonna take a shower to see if it works. I don't want to slip and fall. I'm trying to think of what my remedies for drunkenness are. Well, the fastest one is always, just to throw up. That sobers you up real quick. But you never want to encourage someone to do that, obviously. So, not really sure what would be a good suggestion for you. Let's see, combat view. That's what I want. Let's go ahead and pull you in here. And we'll turn on our route so that you can see what we have to work with. So I would ideally like to have our hero and troll framed within this kind of L shape almost, because I don't want them to get cut off by the input down here. So let's go ahead. Let's grab our cam idle. To local transform values. I can try to crank the field of view, I guess. If I bring that up to 80, I don't know. At 80, I kind of do get a bit of a fisheye lens effect going on, which is funny because I like to play it at 80, but I don't. I might actually kind of have to do that. Let's try 70. 70 works pretty well. Let's bring this down a little bit to something like there. Then we have this. This is problematic. Jeez. I'm going to, I think, move our. I don't like having the hero below this glass. It's kind of a weird thing to look at. I would prefer it if the light was probably about here, kind of in between these two a little bit. The trick there is it's hard to position those properly. Let's go ahead and grab this, and I think it's these four. So if I move this over to like here, it's gonna rebake, but I'm like 90% sure that it's gonna be super dark here, which probably means I actually want to bump this up a little bit. Well, we'll see. Let's let that bake out while we're doing stuff. So I'm a little concerned that our leftover here is going to be too dark. If that's the case, I can probably crank this light a little bit, maybe. It's hard to, it's a delicate balance to basically have the right amount of light so that everything's visible while simultaneously having areas look like they are matching their overworld counterparts. So I do like this framing though, that works pretty well. And from here we can more easily have our actions be shown. So let's go ahead and I'm going to move this up to our timelines, into our intro, I guess. And I can get rid of you. So let's go ahead and finish up our dolly movements. So we have this shot. Let's go ahead and add a new one. Let's go ahead. We're going to kind of rotate out here. That's a little tough. Let's try. What do I want to do here? I guess my solution for this would be something like this. Let's add one more. I think the goal is going to basically be to try and position ourselves here. The difficulty comes from not really being too sure where I should put it. So let's go ahead and move this to here. So this is the position value that I need to use for our final track. Because it's all local space related to the dolly track, which is not unusual for spline-based stuff. Typically, it's probably the best way to go anyway. Rolling, huh? Finds a roll path to the waypoint. Ugh, that's going to be fun. Okay, so that's that. We can get rid of you now. And... Well, you're dying. Are you sure? I guess something to do is drink water. That usually helps kind of get rid of any sort of ill effects of anything that you might have imbibed. Let's see. I'm going to select. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull you up. I'm actually going to try to give us a sort of vertical orientation a little bit. So we'll come in a little low, and then we'll sweep up, and then we'll end back here a little bit. I think that works pretty well. If I die, I will become a Twitch ghost and haunt all the chats. Does that mean that you would get your own custom emote? So you'd show up with a custom emote that says Twitch ghost, basically? Okay, so I think what we want to do here, and this would be really nice if I could. Let's solo this, see if I can do this. I am deeply confused. Oh, actually, you know what? That kind of makes sense in a nice way. I'll give him points for that. That's actually a really smart way to handle this. So this value, this path position, 0 is the very start of the path, and normally how these things work, 0 is the start, 1 is the end. But instead, they actually broke it down by points. So 1 is the first point, 2 is the second, 3 is the third, and 4th is the fourth. That's actually a really smart way to handle that. Of course, that does kind of suck. Oh, look at that. You can even choose to show it by different ways. Wow, that's a really nice feature. Okay. Well, now that you know what your entrance would be like, what would you say? What would be the first thing you say when you enter a chat as a ghost? Because you could always go with the classic blue, which is a little 1950s, I feel, but it's a throwback. Might be able to surprise a few people with that. I wonder, auto dolly. I don't think I want to do that. This is gonna be the weirdest thing about the dolly. I was really hoping that I could just tell it to basically like orient along this path, but I don't think I can. Change aim to do nothing. I don't want a hard look at or oh god, I don't want that. Get rid of you. I don't need noise. My ideal position for this would basically be that I could have it kind of face the direction that it's going along instead of having it just, face one direction. So it would be nice. Let's see here. Vertical plane of 1. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that we can do Dutch angles. I gotta work that in somehow. I gotta work that in. Who doesn't love a good Dutch angle? That is that's how you know you're a cinematic master. Behold. But the question there then is, behold just in lowercase like that? Are you gonna do it in all caps? You're gonna do it in staggered? Because the presentation is a thing. You gotta consider that. Are you going for scary, or are you going for this is a good time now sort of thing? You gotta juggle those things, And depending on how you type behold, that could be it could be interpreted different ways. Let's see. If you're looking for a good behold to do, I definitely recommend looking at Dr. Weird from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Probably because he's got the best behold lines I think I've ever seen. Or heard, I guess. Okay, so I have tracked dolly, which is what I want for it to move. Can I search radius? What are these? Oh, interesting. Performance is proportionally slider. That's all fine. I don't want to auto dolly. That's not really a thing that I want. Oh, path. That might be what I want then. Let me try this. Yep, that's pretty much what I want. Okay, so we would essentially have like this. Swing up. That's a little stupid now that I look at it. But yeah, okay. So I can't actually do that. I probably need to give it a target follow and then move that target follow. Because I like the position of this, but I think what I want to do for actual looking, like determining what the camera looks at, I probably want it to be like up to here, and then right about here, I don't want it to keep looking along the track. I want it to kind of look down, because this is a stupid angle. This doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't show you anything. It's an empty wall for the most part. And then we basically, by about this time, we probably want to be looking down the hallway. So we can ease into our final position and rotation values. So, okay, let's go there, and let's go ahead. Pitch dampening. No, I don't need to worry about that. which I'm assuming is not going to give me anything because I don't have it. I don't have a follow target. So okay, so I think that's actually what I do. Is that what I want? Do I want to just give it a world up and then have it try to target something? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to change this to default, which is just world up, I believe. And then we'll give this a look target. So let's go ahead. And we're going to say dolly track intro look target. Okay. Let's come over to here. We'll give this a composer. We'll give this a look target if it actually lets me grab that. Okay. So now what we can do, let's go ahead and position that. I'm just going to kind of like awkwardly put it here for now. It's not actually going to do anything useful. But let's go ahead and move this. Oh, interesting. Oh, I guess it's probably just gizmo stuff. Looped. Well, I don't need that, but that is a nice thing to know about. Resolution is probably just how many points you get between waypoints. Okay, not too worried about that then. So let's go ahead and scrub this just to see what it looks like. Oh, right, I need to solo that. So you can tell that it's not quite what I want because it's currently like hard looking at it, and I kind of need to have that initially look farther to the right at this position and then slowly pan over to the left until we get to our final point. So let's go ahead and set this to 0. I guess we'll go ahead and grab this. Let's open you up. Set up some of our timeline stuff. Oh god, I really should start bringing. Well, no, I can't put a fan in here because you would hear that on the mic. I need to just have the AC running whenever I do this stuff because it is hot in this house whenever I stream. Probably because headsets are, for some reason, really good at capturing heat. Hello, Garrett. Welcome back. How are you doing tonight? I am doing okay. I've been surprisingly busy the last couple of days, and I think that's going to continue on through this entire week. I have a local game showing event that I'm going to be showing Text Quest at, so that'll be fun. It's by the canal, so I think it's inside though, so it's not like I'm going to be showing my game outside near the water. Okay, so I'm going to call this camera, and let's go ahead and set up. First things first, we want to use a Cinemachine timeline. We need to give our Cinemachine track. I'm going to add our Cinemachine brain. Okay, good, that's already on there. So let's come down here to our intro, drag this in, and we're going to give us a shot, which is going to be our intro. Okay, and we'll give us another shot, which will be our final idle cam. Okay, and eventually these are going to be... I want my intro to be 5 seconds. Yeah, that's probably about fine. Let's make it 8 seconds long so that we have a 3-second lerp to our final idle camera position. Where are you showing that? Venice? No, although I'm like 90% sure that there probably is a city called Venice in Indiana, because for some reason Indiana has a bizarre number of cities or towns that are named after countries. Like I think we have Brazil, Argentina, Lebanon, like pretty much everywhere. After listing 3 places. No, I'm showing in town, so I'm going to be in Indianapolis. There's like some museum game related thing going on, so I was notified about that, and I'm going to be showing off there. So hopefully that'll be fun. Just like Springfield. Yep. You know, you've got the 4 states. What was it? It was like Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and Kentucky. Okay, so that's our camera setup, but now we need to actually animate our look target. So I will give this a look target. We're gonna come down here to miscellaneous because Unity has no idea where to put its animators. Let's go back up here. Drag this in. Okay. Now, I don't know what the best thing to do here is. I guess I can actually cheat. I'm going to copy this transform just in case, and then I'm going to give this a composer with a look target, and then I'm just going to move this until it's about where I want. So let's go ahead and grab you. So somewhere about here, I think, is what I want. That's pretty decent. I could probably shove that. Nope, about right there is what I want. So our hero is not cut off, so it's not going to be blocked by input, and our troll is not blocked off. Although we do have a little bit of an odd situation going on here. I'd probably prefer that to be a little less crazy. Although I think I can actually get away with that by shrinking this stuff down. I think they're a little. I have a lot of wasted space here. I could probably bring that in quite a bit. So that's actually I'll probably do that real quick. Let's go up here to player info. Yeah, options. Let's take a look at this. Okay, we're gonna slowly zoom in there, and we'll eventually get there. Okay, so currently my assumption is that these are basically on a horizontal layout grid that are evenly sized, most likely. I do not need that. Oh, good. And they are also not set up properly. So I'm going to change this. We're going to give this a content size fitter. And it's going to fit to the min size of these guys. Let's give it proper padding from the left by about 10, which the fact that this is not set up like this means that this was a terrible menu when I originally made it. Let's make it 25. That's pretty good. I do not think you need to be that big. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to just change this to preferred width. So let's change this instead of min size. Let's change it to preferred size. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I don't know if I need this, actually. I don't think I do. Okay, so let's remove these. Okay. That's pretty good, but why are you sized that way? Okay, so I gotta resize them. Fun. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and arrange these to the left, because currently they are not, which is really bizarre. They're just kind of floating there. Okay, weird. Oh no, that makes sense because I need to set this to be, let's see, anchors 0 and 0. And then set our pivot to be 0, and 0.5 is fine. Options area. Oh, okay. Probably don't. I'm going to move this image over to here. That's better. Let's go ahead and move things around because I prefer to work with this in a specific order. Come on. There we go. And then I can remove this. Okay. Let's go ahead and real quick just turn this off. Apply those changes. And turn it back on. Okay. So now, oh, that's completely horrible because it's right up against there. Let's change that a little bit. Options grid. I want to give it 25 probably from the right. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and disable that again. And apply. Cool. So that's our new layout now. It is not much better, but it does cut off probably, I don't know, like about an eighth of the screen's width in wasted space. So that's always a good thing. Let's see. The next thing that we want to do is actually get our look target animated. So let's go back to timeline. Actually, before I do that, let's focus on this. And before I do anything else, I'm probably going to move. I'm going to move my timeline tracks off to the side a little bit, so you guys won't be able to see them while we do this, but that will make it a lot easier for me to actually grab everything and make sure that it all looks right in here. So let's go ahead and select our intro. Then we need to grab our dolly track animated position. I'm going to grab this. This is our final value. This is where we want it to end up. So for now, we want this to actually be probably about here-ish, closer to here. Okay. And by the end, so about 600, I want you to be here. About there. Let's go ahead and stop. Okay. So we're not, oh, was that a Dutch angle thing? No, you can see it like slightly moving, which is weird. Okay. Oh, interesting. Huh. I've not seen this before. Which you guys can't see, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. I didn't know that you could right-click. Or how was I doing it? I don't even know how I did it. Okay, well that's a lost art that I'll never learn again. Okay, there it is. So I can like right-click on the actual scrubber, and I can insert frames or select clips. That's interesting. I didn't know that you could do that in timeline. Okay. Anyway, one of the other things that I do need to do is I need to animate my. Let's see, where are you? Animation track. I need to animate my actual dolly so that it moves, which actually I guess is animating my virtual camera. So let's move you, put you here. We're going to add. I don't need any of that. We're going to add an animator. Okay. Then let's go ahead and go back to intro, drag that in, and we are going to animate. Oh, yeah, right. Became intro. So we want this composer. Sorry, not the composer. Body. We want this to be at like 1, which is actually going to be at 0, and then by the end here, we actually want it to be at 4, I believe. Okay, so that should now, if we put this in preview, oh, I actually did that backwards, hold on. Well, not really backwards so much as just not at the right spot, hold on. I want this to be at probably frame 300. Okay, so let's try this again. So we're going to be like moving through here. Obviously, I need to still animate that, but now we have. Actually, does that work pretty well? Move through here. It's about kind of where I want it to be. I probably want to drive its position a lot faster so that it actually gets to the end of its point. Because I don't want to have this like sort of swerve over to look at stuff. I'd prefer to basically come into this position. So let's go ahead and we're going to change our position, and it's going to be our Z position for the dolly track. So I'm going to make this a lot more of a sharp curve. Oh, that backfired. Okay, hold on. Let's select this. We're going to do that. There we are. So now it'll. Oh, too fast. Way too fast. Let's try bringing that down just a little bit. Okay, so now it's going to kind of move. God, I gotta like. It's really weird. I need it to speed way up. And I also don't like that it's kind of awkwardly snapping. Oh, you know why? It's because. Oh, really? Why are you tracking rotation? I didn't rotate you. Okay, that's weird. Well, whatever. Let's go ahead. Show you guys what I'm doing real quick. trying to figure out a good layout for this. It's hard to do this all on one monitor. So I want to move these keys to probably about frame 350, not 300 or not 600. So now that's actually worse. Go ahead and grab you, position Z, because that's the only one that's actually changing. Let's go ahead and say, I think I want to say free, not free smooth, flat. Yeah. So this is a default ease in out curve, so you can see that it's moving. Oh, why is there a hiccup? So we have it move in. We want to follow and look down the hall as it does so. I don't know why I'm doing this by hand. I can just hit play. Well, that's a little awkward now, isn't it? Like the weird movement that happens there at the end isn't actually because it's moving backwards. What's happening is the field of view is getting increased. So that's not ideal. I'm gonna dock this down here because we don't need to see it in the scene view right now. Come up to here. Let's preview this. Oh my! Now that's a Dutch angle. So we're doing that. I really don't like the final camera movement there. So I'm going to set this to loop. Okay, so we get this. It's a legitimate problem though. Like the only remedy I can think of is to make my walls a lot wider if I want to get a good shot. But short of that, I have to do this camera FOV adjustments. I could probably animate the original camera's FOV so it goes from 60 to 70 because I think that's what I'm lerping from. If I turn this off, let's select you. So I think this is 60 and the second one is 70 hiccups, 70. So if I animate this camera going from 60 to 70 over the course of its movements, I think we'll actually be fine. So let's give that a try. I'll have to open you up. Let's come back down to here. I'm going to set you to be 60 FOV. And then at the end, about here, we will try to have you be at 70. Okay. So with that, this is what our camera looks like. That's... I don't like the sort of soft transition that it does there at the end, where it kind of starts drifting and looking to the left. I prefer it to basically come in and end up at this position. So, what to do about that? I guess I could. Let's see. Let's turn off preview here. I'm gonna solo this. Let's shrink our value here, which I think is going to be in our aim composer, right? Yeah. So let's change this up to like 0.025 and probably, I guess, 0.025 as well, or possibly just 0.7, maybe 0.05. Okay, let's try that. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. Oh, of course we're not. Let's try this again. You know what, that might be fine. I think the only thing I need to do to hide that is change our noise to a basic noise. Let's try handheld mild. And it should be moving in real time to let me see it. Maybe. At least I thought it did, but maybe it's not. Okay. Let's see. How about strong, mild? It's probably normal. Let's try normal strong. Give it a frequency gain of 4. I could have sworn that it showed me this stuff. Oof, but it's not. Okay, let's go ahead and go back over here to our intro because I need to add a. Let's see, where are you? Combat, playable track, center machine camera. Let's move that. We're gonna come down to here, and then we're gonna come down to here. We're gonna set it to be our idle camera. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and just, I guess, play this and have it start at the very beginning, so I can just see what this looks like. I'm like 90% sure that I'll get some null reference errors, but it's fine. I just want to see what this looks like. I guess I shouldn't have the UI on because you're not really going to see that. But... Oh my god, no. Okay, let's adjust that camera. Wow, that's just not okay. That's better. Even that is a bit much. Let's go ahead and move this. So this is at 2. Nope, too much. Okay. Amplitude gain at 2. That's a wider area for the shaking. Let's go ahead and bring those both down to like 0.5 and 0.5. Because I really just want some very basic camera movement, just to give a sense of dynamic movement to it. Gotta stretch. It's only been 45 minutes, but I need to stretch. Okay. So let's go ahead and, so we want to set those to 0.5 then. Oh my, what happened to all of my lighting? Oh yeah, I forgot to check on the actual lighting here. You know what, that turned out pretty well. Moving those lights up was not a huge deal. Okay, so that's our basic camera movements. I do think that I do feel like our camera movement is a bit fast. So let's go ahead, open this up. Let's adjust our timing here. So we want this to last, let's make it 10 seconds. Oh, okay, you're going to do that. We're going to have you start at 7. And we'll make you last 10 seconds. Let's move you over to here. Okay. Open these guys up. Grab you. We will make you edit keys. So you're going to be at 420, roughly. Okay. Which means it's probably going to be the same for our dolly tracks. Oh, that's probably... no, that's fine. Edit keys. Let's put this at like 450. 450. Slightly past the 420 mark. Don't know what that cough was. It's the cancer. It's eating me. Let's go ahead and save that and try it. See what it looks like. keep forgetting to turn off the UI. So that adds about 2 seconds to the camera movement. Oh God, what is up with that? Ah, that is too much. Let's. God, that's terrible. Let's go ahead and open this up real quick. I'm gonna pull this off to the side so I can make adjustments a little bit easier. Let's try changing our tracking position a little bit. So about here is where you are now. So this is our look target. I think I can just bring it in like to here a little bit, and that I think might solve our problem. So let's try that, hit save, and let's turn off our UI. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's a little stiff. Wow. Really? Just really? God, okay, fine. I guess we're gonna just really pull this back. This is ridiculous. Let's see. So I want to move you. I'm gonna move you like all the way freaking over to here. Okay, let's hit save there. Try this again. Oh my God, it's so bad. Why is it? Why is it so noticeable? Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna see the actual freaking guides to make sure they're not doing something stupid. Okay. What is up with that? Okay, well, let's change this a little bit. So instead of having it be this tight, I'm going to actually change it so that we have a little bit of an offset. That was not what I meant to do. Actually, no, I guess that was, wasn't it? It keeps going over to here. So I think what I want to do is have this with an offset of probably something like 525. Let's try that. Come on, Unity. It's bound to the heroes. Is it bound to the heroes bouncing animation? No, it's not. That's a lot better, but it's still I don't like that left movement. So we're gonna change this. Yeah, it's looking. So the cameras are looking for this empty transform, this look target, and all we need to do, I think, is bring this up to like 5.5. Not bad. I'm a little concerned because I'm probably gonna have to like animate that value because I basically want it to focus a little. Yeah, okay, yeah, I definitely need to animate this. No, that's buff. That's fine. Yeah, that's. Oh, come on. Are you serious? I gotta counter rotate now. Because, yep, this is too much. Great. So now I basically need to counter rotate the other direction. Seriously, just you won't let me have this one. So let's. God, of course. Let's go ahead and set you at like 0.45. It's probably fine. But yeah, both of those cameras are just looking at that target. I guess I could probably just actually set this camera to look at the target and then take away the target, because I don't need it to follow that target after this dolly movement. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to do that, actually. So let's solo this. I'm just not going to do anything here. So this will be our new... This is the camera position that I want for this. So I'm not going to give it a look at track. I'm just going to let it do that. And let's see what that lerp looks like. I'm a little concerned that our initial camera movement here is looking a little too far to the left. It's not terrible. Fuck you, game. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear like that. But this is really frustrating. So let's go ahead and say 0.5 and give you a width of 0.05. That seems fairish. Okay. Well, at least our intro is short. I was debating making it feel a lot longer because I wanted it to kind of have this like Unreal Tournament style, or I guess Unreal Gold style feel to it, but oh my god, really? It's that bad? Wow. Let's go ahead and try this again. Oh, and you know what it is? It's because I actually want to move the dolly track back to what it was doing before, of course. So I actually want to move this like back over to here, probably. Okay. Then let's go ahead and turn. Stop animating you. See, now I have to worry. Oh, that was a super awkward snap, but okay. Sure. Okay. So let's test this out. And I guess probably by default I should have this be somewhere closer to its original target position. Okay, let's try this. Well, welcome back, Manatee. Have you managed to quell your unknown drunkenness? Oh god, that is really bouncy. Should I lower that even more? 0.25. Even that kind of feels like a bit much. That's too little. Let's do 0.25 and 0.25. Let's go ahead and maximize on play. Maybe 0.5 and 0.25. Let's try that. That's better. Okay. So the main thing is like I need the amplitude just so that I can have noticeable movement there, but the frequency, if it's too high, becomes jarring. Yeah, I guess that'll sober you up pretty quick. Okay, so I think our cameras are in a pretty good place. There probably could be a little bit more fine tuning that we do for the initial camera position with regards to the look target. Like we probably could have it hang out a little bit more here for like maybe a quarter of a second longer, but you know, it's fine. So let's go ahead, collapse these. I'm gonna move this up to here. So that's our cameras section. That's all we really should need for any of our camera related stuff. So let's go ahead and collapse that. I'm going to add a new track group. These are going to be our characters. Okay, we're going to have it set to, let's see, combat, playable track, and we want to say look at target clip. Okay, so I'm going to call this hero. And this is so that our characters will billboard properly to face the camera. So we're going to give this a always follow. It is going to rotate the hero, and its target is going to be our main camera. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. We'll call this troll. Give it the troll. Doing the same thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and... Oh my god, I really want to do Dutch angles now. Just because it keeps tilting. I really want to get that, like, Unreal Tournament, old school 1996 shooter feel. Okay, so... Wow, you guys didn't do what you were supposed to do, so why are you not always following? Wait. I bet I know why. $10 says that it's because timeline is broken and I need to quit and open Unity. $10, I say. Okay, what? Why? Why do you stop? Oh. It's because I'm stupid. Obviously, it's not going to keep doing it. It's only going to last as long as the clip. So let's go ahead and move this over to here. I don't know why I didn't. Okay. Let's go ahead and collapse you, open you up. Let's try that again. So we have our initial movement. Yeah, I would like it to face a little bit further to the right before we do our initial sweep. Okay, so you're working for the hero. Are you just not going to work for our troll for some reason? I don't understand. Why are you being weird about this? Okay, fine, we'll do this. Let's see. Look at target clip. We'll have it stretch the entire way. It's going to be our troll. It's going to always follow, and it's going to follow our main camera. Oh, that's probably why I don't think I had the main camera assignment on there. Okay, let's go ahead and try that real quick. So now both of them should face the camera. And then relatively quickly, we'll be able to set up things like action select and all that. Oh, come on! Seriously? Why are you doing this to me? Let's go ahead and stop. Test out a theory. Let's see. Combat playable. Look at target clip. Let's have that go all the way. It's the troll, and then our main camera. It's always going to follow. It's just going to be in our y-axis. Okay, let's go ahead and call this troll. Hit save. And try it again. See how angry I get if it doesn't work again. Because it could be pretty bad. Why? Why are you being like this? Troll, grab you. Let's turn off maximize on play. Are you even rotating? You are, but you're being weird about it. Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, that's awkward. Why? Why are you like this? Our troll model and hero model are rotated differently. What the frig? Why? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, well, let's rotate you to 90 so you're actually perpendicular to it. Oh, shoot, that wasn't what I wanted to do. So our hero model isn't, but our troll model is? That doesn't make sense. I haven't any rotation? I have a rotation of 90 degrees. Why do I have a rotation of 90 degrees on here? Okay, weird. Oh, geez, that makes me really worried now. Does do our animations for this have that problem? No, it's just position. Okay, that's good. So I guess I'll reset these rotations? That's weird. Oh, I probably did that so that right, because it's the original troll. So it was probably all kinds of borked in order to get it to work properly. Let's try that one more time. I get a feeling it'll work this time. I got a good feeling about this. You know, words that have never ever proven fatal. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. All right, nice. And there we are. Cool. And stretch. So now we need to. Now I need to get our menus set up and all that. We need to move the position of our particle effect on the troll, obviously, because it's doing all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, work with me here. Particles. Burp particles, which I don't. So I think I want this to actually be like 0.5. Hold on. Negative 0.5 and then 0. And then I want it to rotate negative 90 degrees. Hello, Corpus C. Welcome to the Devstream. How you doing tonight? I was considering making a VR controls interface to Z Machine games, Zork Infocom, and imagine similar things to this for visualization. Yeah, it's a fun style. I don't think I've seen it really taken to this extreme before. I've seen a lot of 2D visualization techniques where people will use like ASCII art as their world, but I've never seen it like projected in 3D and actually do all the normal maps and whatnot. So would that mean that your VR interface would take things from Z Machine and basically just render them out? I guess. Well, how would you do that? I guess you would have to rudimentary model out the environments. Interesting. Could have a lot of fun with that. Anyway, so that's our burp particles. We want that to go one way. I gotta now change our fart particles because I'm secretly 5 years old. And for you, I believe we actually want that to be the case. Let's go ahead and stop and play. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. And let's test our burp particles. Should I actually go ahead and just move this to be 0 and like 0.5 play? Let's go to 0 rotation. So actually that kind of is what I would expect. Oh no, that's it's not terrible. We'll see if we kind of adapt to that. Yeah, certain commands would map to physical space. Like if you eat apple, you could raise the apple object to your mouth instead of typing it. That makes sense. That actually makes quite a bit of sense. Oh dear, I just noticed a terrible texture seam. Hold on. Ugh. Okay, I guess it's not wrong. It just looks bad. Gross. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That L looks all kinds of wrong. Not much I can really do about that besides move all the UVs again, and that would require re-exporting all the models, and I really don't want to do that. So, okay, we'll leave it for now. When holding your objects up to your eyes, it would automatically print the text to examine object, giving more details when it's close to your eyes. See, that's where it gets kind of awkward, right? Because if you're holding an object up to your eyes, are you going to show the text through the object? Because in VR space, typically what you would want is you'd want the text to have more of a physical presence almost, I would think. So you would have like the description read behind the object, so you would like hold it up to your eyes for a little bit and then take it down and you get the description. Just because, oh, okay, there's our burp. We're gonna, Oh, okay. My troll is backwards, or the particles are backwards at the very least. Okay, that's why. So let's go ahead and flip these. So this is going to be negative. And this is going to be positive 5. Nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and set up our intro commands to actually handle UI. Track group. Oops, not UB. UI. We're going to do a cinemachine. No, not cinemachine. Combat playable track. We're going to say. Select combat action. There we go. And we'll go ahead and just call this UI. Oh, we're going to have a select action. Some things would be a HUD text, and others would be world 3D text. I'm trying to think of HUDs that I've actually enjoyed in VR space. For the most part, HUDs are a kind of rare thing in VR, I feel. Just because it means that they're going to be close to your eyes, which means you have to focus on them at close range, which tends to be a little awkward. For examining or detect the extra text to your hand position, offset underneath the name of the object. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, I should probably go ahead and move this over to here. And let's change our duration to be like 1 second. Move this back over to here. And yeah, that's good. So this should now let us... Oh, right, I need to reference the combat system. So now that should let us get through the intro cutscene and have a initial camera position with our action prompts pulled up, which is the first part of setting up combat. I feel like, oh, I need to rotate my fart and burp particle systems because right now they're not. What the frig? Don't tell me that you are broken again. Well, a couple of things anyway. Let's go ahead and open this up. Particles, particles. Got to rotate this 180 degrees. And same thing here. Okay, so those should be good. Let's go ahead and grab our intro here. Do I have to open my timeline? Probably. Let's go ahead and add a, let's see, get game view. We're going to open this up. We're going to set this duration to be 1. Okay, and we're going to say I want Sleepy Owl Text Quest, then combat view. Also, I didn't. I thought I alphabetized this, but I did not. Oh well. Combat view, and I do want it to open. Okay, so let's... Oh, shoot. Actually, you know what? No. I want this to be over here because I need to show... a hint. Or not a hint. I need to show... Let's see. Time bar. Combat message, right? Yeah. So I think this will actually open it up, if I'm not mistaken. Show declaration. I'm pretty sure that'll show it, so I can actually close this. The message will last for however long this is, so let's go ahead and move this to like 420-ish, about there. For held items, other things could just remain at world position. That kind of makes sense. What aesthetic were you thinking of? Were you thinking of like full color like this, or were you thinking more like black and white type deal? Kind of like the, what was it, the unfinished swan, I think? Whereas this very stark black and white, but probably in reverse because the unfinished swan, I'm pretty sure, was everything was a white void until you splattered black paint on it, I think. Anyway, so let's go ahead. Oh, right. That's actually not what I don't want to do that because that's at the very end. That's a different thing. Instead, what I need to do is I actually need all of this to be set up. So let's go ahead and do that. There's our player and our troll, which aren't set up yet. Just going to do one phase, so health range from, let's say, 5 to 2. Stance behavior is going to be our troll stance behavior. Stances is going to be 1. Then our intro cutscene is going to be up to here. And then I need to do pretty much everything else. So we still have quite a bit of different random timelines to set up before we can actually get into the combat, I suppose. So let's go ahead and say failure, or not failure, although I will need that, so no, I don't need this. I keep forgetting that I can do this. Video, playable director, and actually, you know what, I'm kind of curious to see this. What did I call it? Menu items? Okay, I want to test this out, by the way, to force it to show up in the create view without having a pre-existing one. Colors and animations, but I wasn't planning on using full mesh visualization other than the mesh on the text is on, but in between letters would just be blank space. Okay, so it'd be a little bit more of a flat type of affair. Like a lot of things would be kind of this 2D text. Still be quite abstract, but 3D shapes could be seen by the way of text mesh is laid out. I guess actually what you would probably want to do there is instead of 2D text, you'd probably want to do more like 3D text that you would use in something like Maya, just because that would give things a sense of scale to them. Okay, so for this, I'm actually going to change this so that instead of just having that, I'm going to say it's not a validation, and I want it to have a priority value of 0. So now I'm going to say, instead of that, create other. Okay, I'm going to let that compile. And now I think I'll be able to right click in the hierarchy and then say create playable director, and it'll, well, create other playable director. Just because I'm tired of doing video, I never think that it's in video because it's not really a video file or anything related to that. Not flat, but not solid plane surfaces like you're doing. Yeah, I was picturing more like 3D text, basically. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so now I can say, oh, come on. Really? Gonna be like that? Fine. I don't know why I can't get this to work. We have this working at work, like the place that I work at, but I don't, for some reason I just can't get it to freaking show create other here. Like I can say, let's see, create other right there, but come on, really? Fine, no fun, no fun at all. Video, because it's at least, then I can actually at least access it. Go ahead and close this. Are you a developer yourself, Corpusy, or are you like a hobbyist, just kind of messing around with stuff? All right, so I'm just going to call this failure as soon as it lets me finish typing. Once everything compiles. Well, while that's happening, I'm going to take a drink. Okay, let's go ahead, right click, create timeline asset. I believe what I want to do here is text quest, then combat, troll, and timeline assets. Let's go ahead and grab this, then I'm going to change this to be troll fail. Probably just call that. Or how about failure? Or maybe troll dash resolution dash failure. That kind of makes sense. Because it's what happens when the turn resolves. You failed, so it should show that. Okay, let's go ahead. And this is actually a pretty easy thing to set up. We're just going to have some cameras. And all we're really going to need to do is set up our Cinemachine timeline, drag in our main camera, do Cinemachine shot clip, then another Cinemachine shot clip. This will probably last 5 seconds. This will probably start at 3 seconds in, and it will last for 4 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. Okay, and this one we are going to give the idle camera, but this first cinemachine shot, we're not going to give it anything, because if you don't give it anything, it will lerp from the active camera to the target camera. It's a nice thing, actually. Let's go ahead and add a combat playable track. We're going to say set cinemachine camera clip. Let's drag this in, drag down to here, drag this in over here. Okay. And then we're going to have to, of course, resolve our damage and open up our selection. So let's go ahead and say a combat playable track, and we want to say, let's see, where are you? Where are you? Select combat action, which is just going to come over to here. Probably it's going to have a duration, I'm going to say, of just 1. Let's move that over to here, and then let's also add in, do I have a separate track for that, actually? Just combat system track. Yes, I think that's what I have, because that should let me phase, failure, cutscene. Okay, that's not it. There should be a, there it is, deal damage. Which probably shouldn't be part of the, that's fine there, whatever. Both, this was just an idea. If I had unlimited time, I'd definitely do it, but I'm a bit off way more than I can. But I've already bit off way more than I can chew with things that I am committed to. Yeah, I understand that. I recently started an in-game modeling mapping editor that itself could take up the rest of my life. Preaching to the choir there, buddy. Custom game support is hard. I have a custom level editor. Well, it's not really a level editor. It's a classic text-based adventure editor. So you can put your own like classic Zork style pure text-based adventures together, and I've gotten through like 70% of that system, I think, so far, but I kind of hit a brick wall with custom logic because I just don't really know how I want to approach that. So I want to open up the custom game so that players can make their own scripts, not like heavy scripting, but more like visual scripting. And it would just be nice for people to have that ability, and it's really awkward and hard to do that at runtime, just because you got to get everything to play nice together. Anywho, let's go ahead and we're just going to say, oh man, timeout. Oof. That's pretty tough. Okay. So I probably don't actually want to have this deal damage clip be part of this timeline, because the actual individual failures that deal damage should probably have their own appropriate animations that get done, which means I can't have a generic function or a generic timeline for that. I can have a generic timeline to go from the end of those animations to the default idle position, but yeah, it's going to be tough. Okay. So let's go ahead and shorten this up a bit. I'm going to set this to be a duration of 3. I'm going to start this at 1, and then we're just going to have these all be here. This is a 3-second transition. Jeez, is that what that is? That is, well, duration of 3. That's a 2-second transition, which is pretty fast, admittedly, but it might be fine. So let's go ahead and leave that as that. So that's our failure timeline. It's not really doing anything spectacular, but it doesn't need to. I will actually, just out of curiosity, let's see. Oh, excuse me. Not that. Come down here. We're going to go to our test timelines. Combat failure. What do I have here? Set my camera. I display message, which is, oh, wait, what? Oh, that's if you fail. Failure, I believe, is what I want there. Maybe not. Select combat action, deal damage clip. So I was dealing damage there, but I don't think that that's a good way to go. Let's go ahead and change this. So combat loop failure. Show menu, I deal damage. I mean, I do it there. And then I have a transition for about 2 seconds from the looks of it. Actually, it's about 1 second, which is even worse. Okay, so I'm probably going to change that up a little bit just because I think the templates that we were using before were obviously very sparse because they were meant to be tests. So I'm just going to leave this like this. So our failure transition will not be responsible for deducting damage from the player because the damage should probably be dealt as soon as the animation for the player getting hit happens, instead of happening at the end. Like it wouldn't make sense if someone punched you in the face and then you basically waited until both of you were at your reset default positions for fighting, and then you were like, "Ow!" That's not how that works. Obviously, you're going to get hurt as soon as someone's fist hits your face. So, okay, so that's our default failure. It's not really doing anything spectacular. It's just kind of doing its own thing. So this is going to be, actually, I'm going to call this not failure. I'm going to call it like resolution dash failure. Actually, combat resolution dash failure. That's a better name. Let's go ahead and create video, playable director. We're going to call this combat resolution dash success. Which actually I don't. Pretty much the same thing, actually. Let's change this. I'm going to change this from being called failure to being called reset. Basically, the thing that resets the camera position and UI and all that. I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and rename this from failure to reset. Or rest, because I can't spell. Okay. The next thing we need is, I suppose, let's see. So we have our success cutscene and our failure cutscene. We can go ahead and create those. I don't know what I'm going to do animation-wise for them yet, but wrong thing. Playable director. This is why I want to freaking create other, because it's like doesn't register as any of these. Okay, so it's going to be playable director. I'm going to call this. Let's just call it victory. Victory. Defeat. Okay. And let's go ahead, just create some assets here because that's slightly faster since they're nested. Timeline. Create. Timeline. Okay, so we're going to call this combat-troll dash what do I want it to be called? Victory, I guess. And then combat dash troll dash defeat. Okay. Let's go ahead and drag these in. Okay. I can't really show messages for those, so I'm probably not going to have them be animated currently. We'll get to that once we are more comfortable with our actual combat maneuvers. So now I think we can start moving into our more convoluted phases and such. So let's go ahead and say phase 1. And I capitalize. Phase 01. I think my troll is going to only have one stance for now, because I can't. I don't know. I could have different phases, I guess. It'd probably be good to have just a final phase when they're at 1 health. So let's go ahead and break that up to 2. I'm going to set you from 1 1 to 0. You're not going to have any special stances, really. Well, you'll have the 1. And for this, let's go ahead and create a new playable director. We'll call this phase 01. Geez. It's going to have just the 1 stance, so. Let's go ahead and say. So I think the structure for this, I guess backing up so that I'm not just kind of randomly doing stuff here, is when you choose to attack, you'll be presented with your options. And to start, since this is the first combat in the game, this is the first fight, I don't think the first phase will give you options. So it'll be pretty straightforward. It'll say stuff like, So the first segment of combat should probably just have one label that says, and the hint is like type the message or whatever. And then after that, we move into a defensive phase where you're trying to kind of dodge a few attacks. And this is kind of what I'm thinking to give you a sense of like this is going to look really weird because I'm going to kind of like rough this out to still figures. But basically, we're going to start here. We'll pick our action, so we'll say, I want to attack. Okay, so it'll swing in here, and then it'll show like a little sentence that's like, attack the troll. You type that out. If you succeed, we go into the second stage, which is a defensive bout. The camera will pull back a little bit to show the troll approaching you, and you'll see this, like, the word dodge appear up here. You'll type that in. He'll swing and miss if you typed it in time. You'll see another dodge appear up here. He'll swing and miss again. And then we'll have one final dodge at the very top here. He'll kind of like fall forward to try and squash you. And if you type that in successfully, you will manage to roll under him or slide under him, appear up behind him. And then you will be met with your final combo, which will just be a bunch of words that you type in as quickly as possible. And then that will be that's the initial combat phase. After you get him down to his final stage, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have... Actually, you know what? Let me revise real quick. So this is going to be from 5 to 3, and this is going to be from 2 to 0. Okay, and when you have the final combat phase, so once he's down to 2 health or lower, what's going to happen is you'll have the initial choice of attack the troll. And if you get through that, you will then be greeted by a more aggressive set of dodge options, but in between all of the dodging, you will have an option for a sneak attack. And if you can manage to type that in really quickly between the aggressive dodges, then you'll do a critical hit, which will mean that you can get him down to 2 health. Then on your next attack, you'll be able to beat the troll in 2 hits. Or, well, in 1 hit, basically. 1 combat sequence. Hello, Paul. Welcome back. How are you doing today? I feel like it's been a little bit, but I've actually been mostly working on the combat system in that interim. So you probably actually haven't missed too much. We're actually to the point where we're setting combat up finally, by the way, because spent way too much time tinkering with it. So we're actually getting it to function now. So that's kind of my approach that I'm thinking. That's kind of the sequence of events that I would like to do. And we'll see if that ends up actually feeling pretty nice. I have a feeling it'll be nice. It's just going to be kind of hard. Well, not really, actually. You know what? It's going to be pretty straightforward. It's just all about camera movements at that point. Doing good? I am. I'm all right. It's really hot in my house, and I don't know why I don't just leave my AC on whenever I do my Devstreams, because that would help a lot. It gets really hot when you're wearing a headset and there's no AC on and no fan, because if you have a fan, your microphone would pick it up and it would sound terrible. Okay, so let's go ahead and start animating this. So this will be segment 01. Then we'll duplicate that. We'll have segment 02, and then we'll end with segment 03. Okay. And, well, thank you for the follow, Corpus. Okay, let's go ahead and create some more timeline assets. Create timeline. And I'm going to call this combat dash troll dash, oh god, phase 01 dash segment 01. Oh, it's hideous. What a terrible name. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. Put that in. I'm actually going to also change my let's see, context. So it's context menus. I'm going to update this context stuff because right now it defaults whenever I create a new timeline to a set application.data path, but it would probably be really nice if I could save this path and just load it up whenever I want to create timeline assets. So I think I'm actually really curious if Unity has that built in because it seems like something that they do for their inspectors or for their custom save file stuff. So I'm going to say Unity editor save file window default folder path. Terrible search results for that probably. Let's see, scripting application data path. That's not what I want. Basically, oh, this might actually be what I did. Let's see. Save file dialog. So you need to show your asset folder. I wonder if I just give it nothing, if it will default. So let's go ahead and close this. I'm going to try setting this to be nothing and see if that just loads it up. Okay. Well, welcome back, Manatee. I'm glad that you're hanging in there. It would be kind of awkward if you started haunting my chat after we had talked about it. Okay, so I'm gonna try this. The main change that I just did there was I would like it so that whenever I create seriously, still compiling. Whenever I create a new timeline asset by context command like this, it would be nice if it could do that. That's exactly what I wanted. So I will just give it nothing, and it will just default to it. Cool. That makes it much faster. So I can just call this combat dash troll dash let's see, phase 01 dash segment 02. Cool. So now I can just right click, create timeline, and it'll save that position. That's so much easier than just coming down here, right clicking, finding timeline, awkwardly naming it, or creating it, then renaming it, and then dragging it in. It's much easier just to do this in one go. Okay, so, and I can just do this. Aha! 2. I'm sorry, not 2. 3. And there we go. And now all of those have their timelines. It's really awkward because the name is almost too long, but it is correct. So, okay. Okay, so real quick, let's go ahead and move back up to here. This is probably a situation where I'm going to move the timeline down to here because we can't really see it anyway. So I'm going to move this so we can get a better view. I'm going to turn off my frickin'... well, that was lag. I'm going to turn these stupid things off. I don't know why I'm calling them stupid. They're very, very important, but I don't want them right now because they just get in the way. Hello, Gelmega. Welcome back. How you doing? It has been a long time. Corpus, what did you think of Steam Direct? Don't know. I haven't dealt with it yet. I have... TextQuest went through Steam when Greenlight was still a thing. Which tells you how long I've been working on it. But I don't know how Steam Direct is from a developer side. I mean, in general, Steam's approach to releasing games has been stupid. They have oversaturated their market, and now you cannot... Like it used to be, if a game was on Steam, it meant something. It meant that, you know, if a game was on Steam, you could be relatively sure that if you bought it, you'd get your money's worth. But nowadays, obviously, that is not the case. I mean, obviously, in the original days, that wasn't always the case, but it was broadly the case. So now it's become less of a thing to really be on Steam, which is a shame. Doing good, working on the JSON parser. Well, that's always fun. I wrote my own JSON parser for C# stuff inside of Unity, and I did not do it very well, I don't think. I would probably do it a lot differently now if I redid it. I just don't want to redo it from the ground up. At least not until I have a clean project so that I can start from scratch on it. Anywho, so this is segment 1, which means that we're going to need, obviously, our track groups. We're going to have our cameras. We're going to need our Cinemachine timeline stuff. Let's drag this in. We're going to need to go Cinemachine shot clip, Cinemachine shot clip. We will be going from our idle camera to a camera that does not exist yet, so we are going to need to do that. Let's go ahead and say create Cinemachine virtual camera. We'll drag this in, and actually, you know what? I think I'm going to probably actually delete this, and we're going to copy vcam idle because I want to have the screen shake effect. Let's go ahead and put this in over here, and probably how I want to handle this is just like have something like this. This is going to be a little awkward, but oh no, that's way too awkward. What about here? Nope, too close to you. Okay. I don't want to make it go back to 60. Oh god, I might have to make it go back to 60. Let's try this. Let's actually try to just front and center this almost. Let's see. I think that'll actually work pretty well. Let's go ahead and call this vcam segment 01. Let's see. JSON support is built into Unity nowadays, I'm pretty sure. It is built into it, but it's really specific, which makes it very hard to create your own data sets. You basically have to structure your classes in very weird, meticulous ways to get it to work properly. So I wrote a solution from scratch. One, because it was way before Unity had JSON serialization, but also just so that I could have the flexibility of making my own data. Dude, been forever since I hopped on one of these streams. Well, welcome back, Waylon. It's trying to remember, when were you on last? Because it's a lot has probably changed depending on how long it's been. If I want built-in support for my engine, well, I need to do it myself. That's true when you're building your own engine. Okay, so we want to have a little bit of shake on it. Looks like that's going to be fine. We don't need to look at target. We can just set that to none. We don't really care about it. Far clip plane, near clip plane, those are both fine. And then obviously we need our Dutch angle to have our cinematic masterpiece. Oh wait, no. Oh my god, yes. I can implement Dutch angles because the next segment I will have Dutch angles. Yes! It might seem weird for me to be so obsessed with Dutch angles, but you have to understand, the Dutch angle is an amazing camera technique. Obviously, if you overuse it, it becomes a bit tasteless, but used correctly, it can be quite fun. And obviously, you need to overuse it if you're going to make cinematic masterpiece like Battlefield Earth. Probably like 8 to 10 months by now. Oh yeah, then lots of stuff has changed. Most of the overworld has been completed in that time frame, and we are currently in the midst of a huge combat refactor to make combat a lot more dynamic and interesting, because now it's going to be kind of strategic. You can do stuff out of combat to affect things in combat. You can do stuff in combat to affect things out of combat. You choose your path through combat now. You can take risks, get rewarded, all kinds of things to make the experience scale much better. My god, I have the hiccups. Okay, so that's our next camera. After that is where it gets kind of interesting because, well, it's going to basically do... How do I want to handle this? I actually might have to make a script for this, but that's probably fine. I'm going to go ahead and create, let's see, let's copy this, let's paste this in down here. This is segment 2, and this is going to be right. Okay. Then let's go ahead and duplicate this. We'll do segment 2 left. And let's see. So this is going to be fun. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to have the camera have a pretty low angle, something like this. Go ahead and solo this so I can see it. Oh, yeah. Now I can touch it. Yes. It's probably not even going to be that much. It's probably going to be something like -10. Just a slight Dutch angle so that I can get this like really nice shot. Let's try bumping you up to 70. Is that... Oh man, that's actually a really, really cool shot if I was doing like a long run towards it. Let's see, I still have some old build I downloaded a long time ago. Not really sure what was there though. Never got out of the sewers. Well, I mean, the sewers is the last part of the demo, so there wasn't much beyond that really. Dutch angle. Basically, someone discovered that you don't need to hold the camera straight. Yes, and that it revolutionized the cinematography world. So maybe a little farther, something like this. Oof, okay, that might be a bit much. It's really hard. Like I want to frame it up so that our hero is perfectly in view. And this is probably actually about where we want to go. So next is... Oh, man. That's going to be a thing. Okay, so I need to write a script, actually, real quick. Because I need to write a script that will keep a transform at a set distance from another transform, even at edit time. So let's go ahead and come down to here. Let's see, scripts. I don't... It's probably only going to be used in combat, so I think... Maybe I should actually put it in common, because it probably could be useful there. So let's see, threading, textures. Really, I don't have something for timeline. Or not timeline. Transform. Okay, let's go ahead and create C# script, and I'm just going to call this like keep relative position. Okay. Let's open this up. So the purpose of this script is basically I'm going to give it a transform value, and what it will do is it will try to position the object that the script is attached to be a set offset from that transform, basically. So let's go ahead and we're going to say execute in edit mode, and it's probably fine by itself. Let's go ahead and say serialize field private vector 3 offset is equal to vector 3.0. Okay. Tooltip. This is also something that I'm slowly figuring out coding conventions for certain things over time, and recently at work we had a discussion, and we decided to adopt this format just because it prevents having like multiple attributes that stack and make inspectors stupidly vertical in their code. Okay, so this is going to be offset from the target transform to maintain. Okay, and then in front of that, serialize field, tooltip, blah, 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 private transform target. Okay, and from this, do I want to do a world space thing? Because I could potentially do world space. Let's go ahead and say serialize field, private. What is it, like world space? No, it's like, it's the actual function call here. I never remember. Private void update. There's a enum value inside of Unity that basically handles or determines if something should be using world space or relative space, I believe. So I think I want to do something like transform dot, I think I can do translate, and then that'll have an option for it. Space, that's what it is. Space, and then it's equal to, what are my options? Self and world. Okay. Probably world, and we'll go ahead and get rid of that. I'm not going to call that space. I'm probably going to call it like position or type, maybe. That seems more appropriate. Serialized field, tooltip determines how the offset is calculated. Self will use the targets. Local transform. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I need, because I don't want it to have like lerping or anything like that. It's just going to be a hard set value that it keeps. Probably should give the target a tooltip. So we're going to say target transform to keep an offset from. Okay. And all we're going to do here is say if target does not equal null. And then we will say, oh, you know what? I'm also going to make this SOS mono behavior, because that way it has some caching going on. Get rid of you, and we're going to say transform dot position. Oh shoot! Should I maintain rotation too? Because that could be a thing. For now, I'm not going to worry about that. So we're just going to say transform.position is equal to, what will that be? I guess it would be equal to, nope, I can't do anything yet because I need to say if type is equal to space.world, because it's going to be the one that we want first, else blah, blah, blah. So we're going to say transform.position is equal to target.position plus offset. So pretty easy thing to do there. But if it's not world space, then I actually want to do something slightly different. So transform.position is equal to, and I believe how this is going to work is target dot matrix local to world matrix, then dot set TRS. Is that right? No. Dot, what is it? Multiply. There's a thing here. And I always forget what it is, because I'm still fairly new to multiply point. There we go. Okay. And then I want to give that its offset. And I think that will give me local space positioning. So let's go ahead and let that compile. Then get mad because it has different line endings, because of course it does. Somehow, even though I explicitly said it not to. Alright, so let's give this a try. Which I guess probably would be easiest to do with a test game object first, obviously. Oh, it's still compiling. That's why I was like, okay. Gotta love those long compile times. I got used to the Saturday dev project. That's the problem. Got used to having compile times that were literally less than a second long. Come on. Are you compiling again? There we go. Oh, that's a Dutch angle. It's a wonderful Dutch angle is what that is. Okay. Well, oh, it doesn't have a target. That's right. Let's go ahead and give it the hero. Nice. And we'll give it that. And then I'm going to set you to self. And yes, it works. Okay. So cool. That works out pretty well. Although it does look like it's kind of floating. Nah, I think that's just, yeah, cool. So that works out pretty well, actually. And I can just like arbitrarily set these off. And perfect. Cool. So now I can, let's go ahead and zero that out. And I wonder if I could add some sort of command to give me an offset. I guess I could just try repositioning it. It would probably be fine. I'm going to go ahead and copy this position, and then I'm just going to drag this in. We'll give it our hero. Okay, so I need to manually offset this. We'll get an offset of like 0.1. Oh, wow, that needs to go like way up. Let's go back. Oh, wrong way. So probably something. Ooh. About there, you think? It's a little hard to say. Okay. Well, that works pretty well. I will say I want to move this up above here because I don't like having input values between values that you interact with by clicking. I try to get the typically what I try to do is do references, then enums and other click-based interactions, and then actual input fields. So that should keep our camera a set distance away from this hero. So now now we can move the hero around without having to worry about if our camera will be in the correct position because we know it will keep its own offset. Let's see. For me, a full recompile is 2 to 3 minutes. Also, if I change something in headers, yeah. Well, but I'm assuming that that's your compile for your entire engine, correct? It's not like making a slight change to a script that's running on top of your engine. I'm assuming that that's the 2 to 3 minutes is the full engine compilation time. Okay. So that's that. Pretty much we're going to want to do a similar thing with segment 2. Let's go ahead and solo this. We will give it its own keep relative position, which, interestingly enough, apparently whenever you do any sort of UI or GUI event, it probably resets this. So now if I drag in the hero to this, it's probably going to reset again. Oh no, interesting. That time it didn't. Weird. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll say I want positive 8, and then make you a nice even 0.5. And that's fine. Okay, so 0.8, 0.5, and what was it, like 1.45, I think. Solo that. And we do need to handle its rotation, which is almost the same as this, pretty much. Pretty much just going to awkwardly steal these. It's not going to be correct, obviously, but it will be, we'll be able to mirror it at the very least. So let's go ahead and solo this. So that's looking the wrong way, which means that we basically want to come over here and just rotate this a little bit. Okay. That's pretty close. It's honestly a little hard to tell. I might be a little too close to the hero. I probably need to back off just a little bit. So let's give us a little bit of space. Let's go up to like 1 and then 1.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then of course, I need to give myself a Dutch angle of 10. Sorry, I'm just a child and I really love Dutch angles because they're funny. They're so much fun. Blame Sam Raimi. It's his fault. And I guess whoever made the cinematic masterpiece that is Battlefield Earth. I do have 50.5k lines of code. That is a lot. I actually still need to run a check to see how many lines of code I have because I'm legitimately curious. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously going to be thousands of lines long, but I don't know what the actual number is. The only thing I'm confident saying is that the parser is going to be the biggest one at like 2,500 ish, give or take a couple of hundred lines. But that's obviously an exception. Most scripts that I write aren't that long. Okay, so that is our right and left segments. Let's go ahead and duplicate this, and we can get rid of you. I'm going to call this center. No, side probably. And for this, I don't actually need it to keep its relative position. So I can kind of just like this. Oh, right. Dutch angles. That's probably fine. Okay. You know what I kind of feel like I should have is a script on my hero character and my troll characters that will just force them to rotate to face the camera at all times. That honestly might be a, a nice thing to have, just so that I can always make sure that they're in frame and they look correct. That's the problem with doing guesswork like this, right? Is like I can't. Obviously, that's not facing the player. So if I were to come down to here, of course. Okay, let me lock that in. We're gonna do this. I would have to rotate it to be flush like there, roughly. But then the question is, do I actually want that? Because potentially I might not. I could see a use case for something like that, where it looks like you're looking at the side of the hero. But it's hard to say. I don't actually know there. I always get mixed up there, and I always get a little iffy in that respect. Gonna go 3 a.m. That is pretty late. That's the fun part about living in Europe when I do my dev streams. Let's see. Okay. So the next couple of things will probably be a bunch of fine tuning. We might we might take a we might stop for the night just because I think the next couple of things that I'm going to be doing are pretty granular. They're not going to be super interesting to watch. But by Thursday, I should have a very interesting battle animation for everyone to see. And I'm really excited because I know how I want this to play out now, and it's nice to see it. I mean, it's obviously not coming together yet. It's getting there, but it's nice to have that vision going forward. Like I know what my combat animations are going to be, and they're going to be so much fun. Okay, so I think that is a pretty good place to stop for the night. So announcements real quick. This weekend, I might not be doing a dev stream just because I have a buddy moving in with me this weekend, and I'm going to be helping him move. So that might eat up most of my Saturday. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. But for now, I think that's a pretty good place to stop. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.